Welcome to The Worst with Chad Austin. Today, I have with me a longtime friend, longtime coworker as well.
Mm-hmm.
And now he has just been booming during this pandy. I mean, this kid has just been making moves, but I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
Yeah. Name's Marq. Longtime friend of Chad. Filmmaker, musician, producer, director, writer. Stand-up guy.
Every hat.
Ex-bartender. Former bartender.
Dude, that's what I say now. It's just like I used to be a bartender.
Yeah.
I'm still working in a bar right now, but I'm not a fucking bartender anymore. I make bottled cocktails.
Oh, man.
That's all I do.
Yeah. There's something depressing about that.
Like, a little bit.
The way you just said it, it's like,
yeah, and it's defeating.
Crushing.
It's defeating that, like, I don't, because the thing that I missed the most was, like, making fun of drunk people at the bar to their faces.
Yes.
And it worked really well if you had a way about yourself of doing it where you just didn't straight up come off as a dick.
Yeah.
But, just a little panache to the way you did it.
Yeah.
And
just sharing that energy too.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of miss that.
Yeah,
I do miss that a lot.
like that. The feeling of being in the weeds was one of my favorites. Like just that little bit of in over your head, and you knew it was gonna end, but at the time it didn't feel like it.
Yeah,
like
you kind of go a little crazy.
Yeah,
like you feel yourself numb up. You're like, I'm about to fucking explode. The next person that orders something out loud, like
ask me if I have Casamigos again, motherfucker. But dude, it's but right now it's wild because I go to work and I go through about a list of like 15 bottled cocktails we have, and I see what needs to be made. And usually it's like 2 days a week. I make a little over 100 drinks and I put them in the fridge. And then it's just packing orders and dealing with like back end, making sure that Uber Eats is doing their job and all that kind of shit. And that's my life now besides doing this.
So it's all pickup stuff, like takeout.
Oh yeah. We're strictly takeout right now. It just doesn't make sense for us to go indoors or anything like that, even with the change.
Yeah.
25% is nothing when you're just crushing a takeout business, because we are like, we murder that shit.
Yeah.
But enough about the boring shit.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about what you've been doing.
I actually been doing a lot of I work at a self-tape studio for one, so I'm doing a lot of auditions for actors. So technically, I'm like the guy auditioning all of them. So it's kind of cool because I'm meeting a bunch of cool actors and producers, even writers that are still acting. They're just doing it on the side. So it's kind of a nice little plug-in, and it's helped me get a few little gigs like on the side as far as private coaching, directing, as well as meeting a production company that helped me shoot my last film.
Nice.
It's kind of nice. It was an interesting transition though, because it's more of a morning gig.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's like early morning and then like early nights now because I have to have an early morning. So
so what time do you wake up for work now?
At least 6,
so
5
like,
sometimes.
Sometimes it's like when you were going to go to bed.
Yes.
From the bartending job is when you're waking up now.
Yes. Yeah. I think about that when I wake up. I'm like, man, I used to just still be awake.
Yeah. I used to. Yeah. I used to be unwinding right now.
Trashed.
Yeah. I used to be hammered trying to pay attention to a movie now as I'm falling asleep.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but it's fun. It's cool. It's a different kind of stress that's a little bit more. It's personal, but it's like a little more clean because it's quick. They're in and out. And you're just like, all right, that wave was done. Whatever. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So it's kind of nice.
That's tight. What was your most recent film? What'd you do? Or can you talk about it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, no.
I don't. I mean,
I
don't know the deal behind all that stuff. I talk about everything, and some people come on here and they're like, "Hey,
yeah. No. It's a little thing. A friend of mine had a story idea for it. She paid a production company. She put all the money into it, and so I just wrote it for her. And then and she asked me to direct it, so I directed it. So it was my first time working with because normally I do it all. I'll be like do the camera work, I'll do the editing, I'll do the sound, but this time I didn't have to worry about that. So it's kind of nice just sitting, just be like,
and you got to just be like
yeah.
No, we're doing that one again.
But it felt like I had to do something, which is really weird because I was like, when I was asking like, you need help with this? Like, no, dude, we gotta get away.
Fuck off, dude. What are you
doing?
doing?
I'm sorry, I'm just
go back to your chair.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
That's like some big time shit. Just like you have a team working for you.
Yeah.
And then you just get to have your vision for something.
Yeah. It's kind of cool. I started playing music too.
I saw that. So what's going on with that? Do you have a band? Or are you playing solo shit?
Yeah.
What's going on?
No, I'm doing a little bit of both, but right now we have a band. We're trying to get a demo going.
Okay.
A year playing guitar. So it's kind of weird because now that I'm like in it, I'm like, okay, we're about to record. It's like the little technical things that are like scales and stuff like that, I'm still not good at. I'm more just like the ear guy. I visually watch.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll watch like a cover of something that I love, and then I'll just use that. And then before you know it, as I play it, I'll just, instead of going this way, I'll go the other way, and then boom, I have a song. So
Nice.
it's interesting how that process was, but I'm still like a little foreign to it.
No, yeah, no, I totally get that, because when I was in like high school and then the few years after that, I tried to be in multiple bands. And luckily, I just had cool friends that just let me string along, but I had no musical talent.
Yeah,
Like,
you played, right?
I played bass.
Oh, that's right.
And
Totally
I played
bass
bass, and
sure.
it was, it was easy. If I fucked up, they can cover it with, drums and guitar.
Yeah.
But they spent a lot of time at practice being like, Chad, no, you go the other way. Right.
Yeah.
And, so just like fixing my shit, but they didn't have anybody that played bass, and I offered to do it, and they're like, all right, we'll teach him as we play.
Yeah.
And I got to learn some things, but then like a couple of years later, after being in like multiple hardcore, and that was another thing too, I was in fucking hardcore bands, so it was like,
of course.
It was like 3 chords.
Yeah.
And
the whole song.
Oh, the whole song. Yeah. It was just like, it was 3 chords, and then it was just like, and then just like open muted, dun 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 dun. So perfect. I mean, we had
That's all you need.
Yeah. We had it, and I was in a band called Combat Carl, because we all love Toy Story.
What a great name. With a K or a C?
Oh, it was C's.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just bunch of. Well, actually, there was one black dude. I was gonna say if it was just K's, and it would look a little too close to being racist.
Just a little. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute.
But yeah, dude, like, and then I had some buddies that were starting like a psych rock band. And this one was wild, dude. I was in a band called Jungles, and they actually somebody shot a documentary about us. So, and I have a copy of it.
Please let me see it.
I'm gonna let you see it. I have a copy of it, but it's wild because it was like everyone would just do mushrooms and acid, and then we'd make weird noises, and that was the band. And everyone like rotated. So, one day I'd be playing drums and having somebody teach me just the most simple drum beat to play. Dude, and then the next day, like my because we didn't play very many live shows, but we recorded a lot just on like a MacBook and GarageBand.
Yeah.
So like one day I'd be like, all right, Chad, today the vision is just crumple this piece of paper into the microphone. I'm like, all right, this is my job. And I played a skateboard where I just slapped the skateboard and then I spun the wheels.
Oh my god.
I ate an apple to the microphone once. That was one of my I basically called myself percussion, etc. Because I was just making noises. That was my job.
Yeah.
But what kind of music are you doing?
It's like folky blues with a little blend of grunge. My whole thing is I want to bring the grunge back because I just love grunge riffs.
Dude,
I think grunge riffs just speak, and they're so simple too. It's not like something intense. It's like if you listen to all like great '90s bands, and they're the choruses or the bridges are always the best part, and it's all just a simple little like distorted riff.
Dude, the heroin chords.
And that's all that. Yeah, that's all that.
They were
like,
awesome.
stands out to me.
No, it's crazy too because like I'm glad that you mentioned like the grunge and stuff because this morning I was super proud. My kid has become obsessed with TikTok.
Yeah.
And she makes them all the time now. And right now she's super into making like these stop motion animation videos.
Yeah.
And she showed me one today, and she had Come As You Are by Nirvana as the background music to her shit. And I was like, whoa, dude, you're 11.
Dude, nice. Amazing.
Like, hell yeah.
That's
good
cool.
job.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, dude, post that. Let's because I make her check with me before she can post anything.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm like, dude.
Doesn't seem like you have much of a filter there. You're just like, whatever, do whatever.
For the most part, but like she watches a lot of these like teenage and like later early 20s girls do like sexy dances, and she wants to do them, and I'm like I was like, no, and she goes, why? I was like, because you're fucking 11, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, no, like you're dude. She tried to post this video of her like doing a makeup tutorial, and she was wearing a robe fresh out of the shower. I was like, are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah.
And, she's a little kid. She doesn't understand that there are creepy fucking people out there.
Yeah.
That just oh my god, the robe's off this little kid's shoulder, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill somebody.
But it's good that you communicate with her. I think that's
dude.
I think the biggest thing lacked as far as like childhood growing up is like communication. It's a big deal. It's like the way you speak to them.
Oh, dude,
versus just being like
I speak to Josie like she is an adult.
Yeah, you got to, because you got to, especially when confronting like issues like that are like a little like touchy. You don't know how they're gonna take it, but you just like let them know from the beginning. Because you get them thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, I shelter her from
like
certain things. Thinking. Like, I don't tell her about the creepy dude.
Yeah.
But I tell her that there are bad people out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like when I was growing up, like in my house, it was just like you didn't really talk about anything. You just swept it under the rug.
Yeah.
And I was
no,
like,
same.
and I don't want to do that. Like I want to,
Yeah.
dude. If you got a problem, let's squash it right now.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. You know.
Yeah, just certain things you could be ahead on, like that. Just to get a heads up on versus experiencing it like firsthand when it's too late. If that makes sense.
And I also like to just explain it to her, like sometimes like ad nauseum, and where she's just like, "Fuck, Dad, I know," because it's just you're a small child, you don't really understand the world yet.
Yeah.
You see all this stuff and you think that you do,
Mhm.
but let me break it down for you because I've been around a lot of these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've done I told her too. I was like, when you become a teenager, any fucked up thing you can think of doing, I've done it. I've done it. So when you come home, I know exactly what to fucking look for.
Yeah.
You know? So don't even try me. Like
Yeah.
I know what they all look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm ready for it. I'm scared, but I'm ready for it because she's growing she's growing up and it's weird, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Just being a parent, just thinking about it, like, yeah, it's a whole different thing. Like a lot of things, like growing up. I mean, my dad was young. My parents are young, like extremely young. And things that I remember as a kid that were a little like traumatizing or a little like off for me. I just look at it now and I'm like, holy shit, I'm the same age my dad was when this happened. It's like, oh, of course, how do you expect him to react? Like,
Yeah,
I
right?
understand now. I get it.
No,
So
it's a fucking trip.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a trip because
yeah.
I mean, I think about that a lot too, especially having a kid now.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm dealing with her bullshit,
Yeah.
The way she's talking to me at age 10 or age 11. And then I've texted my mom more than once to be like, yo, sorry. Like, I was a dick.
Yeah.
I was a little asshole and you put up with me to no end. And I'm feeling like strangling this little shit right now. I was like, but I'm keeping my cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm also thinking about you just being like, Jesus, how?
Exactly.
How,
Yeah.
man? I mean, it's wild.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. It's crazy to think about.
Okay, dude. So we're gonna get into talking about a movie, but that we've both seen recently.
Yes.
But before that, because we had already talked that you haven't seen this movie, I want to talk a little bit about Coming to America.
Oh, okay, yeah.
With
Tell
the
me
number
about
2, because
Yeah.
it's the second one, but it's the
Yeah.
same exact title, so it's confusing to people.
Mm-hmm.
In no way do I okay, not in no way. I suggest watching it once.
Yeah, I agree.
I suggest watching it once because it's just basically a movie. It's just nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing back the characters, a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
And then all of the celebrity, like the star power that they brought in for the sequel.
Yeah.
But overall, it's not a good movie.
Yeah.
Like you took an R-rated movie and made the sequel PG-13. Already, I was like,
yeah.
And then it's weird too because they made unnecessary changes for like woke culture. It's just like the old men in the barbershop.
Yeah.
First of all, one thing, it's 30 years later. Those guys should be dead.
Are they still like
but they're
the same kind of
exact
old
age. They're the
That's
same
so
exact
funny.
age.
Yeah, I was
So,
wondering how they're gonna do that.
Yeah, they're the same exact age and they should be dead. But like when they're talking, there's a lot of them sidestepping what they just said.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Murphy's barber characters talking about like, oh yeah, I got a granddaughter that used to be my grandson. And then there's a pause. He goes, but that's okay now. And it's just like, no, dude, that character would not have said that. So it's just like, and he's also a crazy old man.
Yeah.
So you got to let that handle fly,
Yeah. I wonder how much they fought him. Like, I wonder how much content that they either had to leave out or compromise for because of that.
I wonder
with
if
the
there's
studio
going to
where
be
they were just
another version that you could buy later, because I know this one was just released on Amazon Prime.
Snyder Cut. Yeah, they just call it the Snyder Cut. Stamp that as like always going to be the new director's cut kind of deal.
But yeah, so I mean, Tracy Morgan's in it, and he's I've realized that you can't expect Tracy Morgan to be anything else but Tracy Morgan.
At this point, yeah, for sure.
No, he is.
He's always in his own
Hi! Yeah, I mean, it's just like he's just gonna be loud.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be very boisterous, and that's about it. Like that's.
Yeah.
I mean, that "Hey, I Just Did" was more like Donkey from Shrek, but you get it. Like,
yeah.
It was. I mean, it's Tracy Morgan. He does not change like the way he talks or anything for anybody.
Yeah. Well, I highly doubt that there's ever anything scripted for him anymore. I know he doesn't memorize his lines or anything. That's right. What I hear.
Yeah. I don't think he ever really.
Yeah. So they just like let him go. I think they just give him a scenario and he's like, all right, I'll do it.
Yeah. I think the star. I think one of the. I think the star of the show though was Leslie Jones.
Oh, she's great, man.
Dude,
it's hard for her not to steal the show.
Like she's one of those big loud characters, but she's like on fire the whole time. Like, like there's genuine laughs from me for some of her shit. It was really good.
Yeah,
like that. But so it's definitely worth seeing once.
Mm-hmm.
So I suggest watching it whenever you can.
Yeah, I feel like any Eddie Murphy movie, like always worth seeing once.
Dude,
because there's always at least one part that cracks you up, and it's like, you know what?
Yeah,
that was
at least. And and if you think about the first Coming to America. Only the first half of the movie was a comedy. Then it gets into more of like a dramatic romance story. You know, but I mean, this one follows the same exact guideline.
Yeah.
I was speaking of Eddie Murphy movies, and you should see all of them once. I just watched like his second movie ever, Golden Child. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't.
Dude, it's on Stars right now, and basically, it's wacky.
Is it?
But it's worth watching for sure. Just like we just said.
What is it about?
Eddie Murphy, it doesn't really say that if he is a policeman or if he just works with the police, but basically he just tracks down missing kids.
Mm-hmm.
And this lady comes to him and says, hey, this sacred child was stolen from Tibet and we need your help. And he's like, you're the chosen one. And he's like, all right. And
the simple storyline, the way it just gets to the point.
Yeah, there's
like,
just there's
no
weird magic. There, Charles Dance from Game of Thrones and stuff.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy in it, and he's like a demon.
Which one's Charles?
He was the father of the Lannisters, the older gentleman.
Yeah.
He was also in Last Action Hero with with Schwartzy.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's wacky, but it's fun.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of, hold on, we're gonna go off track a little bit.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. We never really spoke about it. Have you seen it all?
I've seen it all. Yeah, a couple times actually.
Did we talk about like the finale or like the last season?
No, we never really did.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it was kind of a bummer, but at the same time, I was just like, I don't really know what I was expecting them to do.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I was fighting it. Like, I was fighting against all the bad wave it was getting.
Yeah,
but it was like an episode, so I'm like, hold on, man. It's a development thing. Like, it just makes sense. Of
I
course
thought it was
gonna
be a slow burn. Yeah.
But the more I sit back, it was very rushed. I'm very curious to like really know what happened. Because it was way too rushed to just end like that. Like nothing was like the development was just, it was off. Like I mean the whole thing of the way it ends with Daenerys killing or getting killed by whatever. Totally great ending, makes sense, but it just happened so fast. It was just like a what?
Yeah, the way that they led into it was just like
it just
all right, that's cool, man.
Like second episode was.
It's been a while since I've seen the
I know. I just thought about it because I saw like a video where they were talking, or they're doing the table read.
Oh, okay.
And we're just like, man, the table read sounds exciting, but what a fucking buzzkill.
But I was kind of wanting to sleep during that whole episode. But
yeah.
No, yeah, man. I mean, Natalie and I invested a lot of time into that show, and we watched it. We watched it multiple times just because it is a very dense show, and you do the more you watch it, you watch the whole series a couple times, and you're like, oh shit, like
yeah.
And I love shows like that because I hate when people the people that are working these things automatically assume that their audience is dumb. Yeah. So they over explain everything. This is one of my main reasons that I fucking hate the Avatar movie.
Mm-hmm. You know, I've never seen the Avatar movie.
Oh, don't watch it.
Everyone's telling me to watch it because it's revolutionary, but I'm like,
it's absolute trash. Fucking hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, just one thing that I literally just scoffed out loud in the theater when I saw it. They're going to this island or whatever the fuck it is where these creatures live to get this very what is it, some kind of rock that is only on this island, or metal, precious metal. And he's like, yeah, we need to get this unobtainable rock, it's called unobtainium. And I was like, and I just went, fuck. And it was just one of those things where it's like, oh, come on, man, like not everyone's this stupid.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
Get creative with it. Have fun.
You know, like
name it Julie. Like, oh, we gotta get Julie.
There's people that create entire fucking worlds. I tried to read one of the first Game of Thrones book.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker makes everything so dense, and there's just no holdback of these are all these places, and this is all the characters' names, and I'm not going to repeat this again. We're just going to go from here to here to here. And I'm just like, holy shit, dude, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
So maybe I am too stupid for the books, but I can catch up with a show.
Yeah.
But, dude, but what we really wanted to get into to start all this off was the Snyder Cut, dude. That
Oh
shit
my
just
God.
came out. That shit just came out on Thursday.
Yes.
I spent all day Friday watching it in segments because it's 4 hours. The runtime is 4 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah. It is fucking long, but it didn't really feel long. Well, actually, my experience was a little interesting.
Please go ahead.
So I made an event out of it because I kept hearing about it,
Okay.
and then I always I know DC pretty well, not as intense as most. You know, like my brother's he read all the comics, so he knows like the ins and outs of it. So he's the one that shed light on it, being like, "You have to see this. This is actually amazing." I was like, "Okay, for sure." So I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take an edible. I'm gonna make dinner, and I'm gonna literally like from 4 p.m. on, I'm done for the day.
Yeah, right.
So, mind you, I drink coffee late. So sometimes, like at this time, I'm drinking like a quad shot of a latte of some sort, and then I decided to like make dinner, and then I take the edible right after.
Nice.
I take the same amount I always had. It's just a new pack that I just got. Anyways, so I take the same amount. Actually, I think I took a little more. But I remember thinking, I'm like, I think in the last experience I had something. I like put a post-it note and be like, don't take this much again, I think. But I was like, no, I think I'm fine. And I do it. And so, of course, boom, it starts kicking in. I eat dinner, and then I put the movie on. Dude, I think it was like, it kicks off with Steppenwolf showing up.
The very first scene?
Yeah. Well, the first scene is the very first scene is the whole Superman thing, which already was like, I was like, oh my God, this is already great. The whole thing of the voices echoing like away. I was like, shit. All right, cool. That's amazing. Then the mystery of Steppenwolf as he shows up, which I thought was very well done, as far as like the time it took for him to show up, versus it being, I think in the last movie they go into a backstory, and I remember just being like, dude, fuck this character, whatever, he's boring and stupid. So anyways, it goes into the scene when he's fighting all the Amazonians, and you know how it's just unrated R, amazing. So it's like you're showing the chop up of everything. Something happens where I'm just like, this is like a little too epic, because I'm just thinking about every little detail that's happening that I got so overwhelmed, it put me in a bad trip. I had to stop the movie. I was forgetting how to breathe. It was like this whole, it was terrible. I had to call my brother and be like, hey, talk to me real quick, because I'm watching the movie. And then when I started realizing that I couldn't speak, I was like, oh my God, I'm in a bad trip right now. This is awful. So I literally had to my brother had to talk me down for like another hour and a half before I went back into it. But it was literally, and it went to the Wonder Woman scene. That's where I had to pause it.
Oh, okay.
I was
in
like,
the bank.
I was like, I don't remember this being this epic. I was like, wow, this is, thank you. But also like, oh, they do that, boom, psyching myself out. I'm like, I can't watch this. I can't even talk about it. I'm like, there's just too much going on. So like, I watched it in like I took like a 2-hour break, and then I came back to it, and I was like, oh, this is so good. I'm like, yes, okay, thank you.
You let yourself come down a little bit.
Dude, the movie literally, I think, had a little bit to do with psyching me out, because I've never been psyched out like that. That, or I think I took a little too much. But even then, I've never taken that much to where I literally felt like, I'm like, all right, I'm freaking to breathe. I'm like, I'm thinking too much about this, and it's like. And you know how like when you're a little high, you start relating things to your life, and you're just fuck, here we go. Oh shit, oh my God, I should be doing this. Oh no, you know, you kind of veer off. So
it just webs, dude.
It's
a mess.
Yeah, but towards as it went on, I started to fade down, and I started to even enjoy it more. Oh, dude, I think it's amazing. I hated the Steppenwolf character in the first movie so much. Right when they introduced him, I was like, this is. Okay, this whatever. I feel like he needs to be a little bit more, you know, because everything's rushed in that first Justice League. Dude, in this movie, he's my favorite part of the whole movie. Like, it was great. They don't go into a backstory on him. They just, boom, he shows up. You know he wants something. The whole thing is keeping him from fucking getting this thing. And so it's all a chase, the first half. And then they go into, like, a little bit of him wanting to, like, be so, like, you know, to kind of free up from this debt that he owes or whatever.
Yeah, he wants to go home.
That was like, I was like, dude, this is a great fucking character.
It's like, I appreciated that, because it's like, even these fucking evil motherfuckers have a story. You know, it's just like, he's not doing bad shit just to do bad shit. He is trying to go home.
Yes.
You know, and I did enjoy the adding. It's been a long time since I've seen the original version, but I'm pretty sure this was an added part. The whole backstory of his boss, Darkseid, where it's like all of the Amazonians and all of the Atlantans and all of the like Greek gods are fighting his people on that island. It was really good.
Yeah. Well, in the first one, it was they used Steppenwolf. They don't even mention Darkseid.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that was already like.
Yeah, that was fucking cool.
That makes sense.
I have some nitpicks though. And I only wrote these down this afternoon when I was rewatching just to refresh my brain, because it was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
I feel like as they do the slow motion action scenes. It's a little much. There's a lot of them, and
what part specifically? Hold on, you
Okay.
gotta be a little specific. Yeah.
So basically every fight has a solid, strong slow motion scene, and I don't think that was necessary. Also, he overuses that like that
every time Wonder Woman
every
comes
time Wonder
in.
Woman was fighting somebody.
Yeah,
and I know it was like
that.
maybe it was like an Amazonian cry or something, and that's what he was trying to. But also, he used a lot like during just big action scenes when he slowed it down. He used a lot of really slow, sad music, and I thought that was cool at first, but then it kept doing it, and I was like, oh well, maybe this scene didn't need a really sad song.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I didn't really feel that. I do agree. Maybe they could have they didn't need. I think he just intentionally did that, in a sense, just to kind of maybe that scene was a little too similar, and he was just like, "This is gonna be my version. I'm gonna stretch it out a little more." I will say, I overall though, I think I'm glad he did it.
I'm glad he did it too. I enjoyed watching it
because that first scene when Wonder Woman shows up, and in the original cut they just show when she dodges the bullet, and then she grabs the guy, throws him, and then this guy hits her on the head and whatever. In this scene, you see the first bullet come. She doesn't even look at it because she's looking at the time clock. Boom, already establishing this is how badass she is. And then the second bullet comes, and then she dodges it. Just that little extra amount of slow motion was amazing. As in now we really got to see Wonder Woman. Dude, this is her. She
being Wonder Woman.
He
even
did her
Natalie,
justice, I think.
Even Natalie was like, "Oh, I didn't know she could move like that."
Dude, yes, exactly.
And that just goes to show you how bad they portrayed her in the past. Because also, people say a lot of good things about the Wonder Woman movies, but 1984 was one of the biggest piles of trash I've ever seen.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, absolute garbage. And then the first one, a main thing that I didn't really care for, and spoiler alert for the first one, if anybody hasn't seen that movie that came out 4 fucking years ago, she really doesn't harness her powers until the man that she loves dies, and then they do it again in the second one. So it was just it's a woman empowerment movie, but she only is empowered by her man.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just seemed kind of goofy to me.
Did you watch the one with the Kristen Wiig, which was the second one, right?
Yeah.
Did you watch? How did Kristen Wiig do?
I mean, she was fine. She had a decent role in the movie. She was semi turns evil for a little while, and
she's not the full villain.
No, she's a side villain.
Yeah,
she's a side villain.
Okay, because they were really highlighting her to be
I
see the story.
She has a big part, but it's not the main battle.
Was she able to disappear as Kristen Wiig?
Yeah, she was.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
she was. Yeah.
I want to watch it just for that reason. I want to see.
I wasn't waiting for her to go, "I'm ready to party," any of that shit. You just let her do her thing. I was able to go, okay, this is her in this movie.
Yeah.
But also about the Snyder Cut, I don't know if it was just me, but when the movie first opens and the title card says this movie is shown in a 4.3 aspect ratio to respect the integrity of Zack Snyder's art or whatever it says, I wanted to turn the fucking movie off. That shit was so douchey to me. It's just because there's not a lot, if you look at the grand scheme of things, there's not a lot of people that understand exactly what that means.
Yeah, true.
So just don't fucking put it in. It just screams. It just screams you're kind of a douchebag. You don't need to do that.
Is he though? Is he a douchebag?
Well, after watching Sucker Punch, I think he. I mean, I've never liked this guy after seeing that movie.
I never seen Sucker Punch, so
it's one of the worst movies ever made.
I don't know. The way I looked at it was just the fact that he was able to bring out his own version of his own original concept of the whole movie with a big production like Warner Brothers behind it. Which I doubt they're behind it at all for a while. I'm pretty sure he just won it because of his name and also whatever else may have came into play.
He put out a tweet storm of bitching about it.
I think also that the Cyborg character was bringing out some accusations on Josh Whedon or something like that.
Oh,
that was pretty heavy. That was, at the time wasn't really understandable. But I don't know, the way I look at it as a filmmaker, I think this is something a little bit more historic than we think. What he just did with this movie was something I can't think of another movie that did anything similar to this and had this much praise. It's kind of it's a nice little nod to all of us to encourage us to keep our vision, and no matter what, if you really believe in it, fight for it, because he just proved with this movie that everything that he believed in this movie is actually fucking good. Like his vision is actually fucking good.
Do you think it needed to be 4 hours though?
No, but I didn't mind it because it did make all those little scenes that they brought back from Justice League have more behind it and make sense. Like for example, the fight scene when Superman shows up. I didn't feel anything when I watched it in Justice League. I was like, oh fuck, Superman's back.
Yeah.
In this case, we get everyone's little backstory. So when everyone's like reacting a certain way, like I relate, I feel with it. I'm like with it. I'm like, oh shit, yeah. Oh fuck. And then like the way Aquaman like has always been a little weird about this whole situation. Now, of course, like, well, now when he's fighting him, it's like he's upset and he's like, I fucking told you guys that we shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get any of that.
No, I agreed.
So,
like there was a lot of shit that was.
Yeah.
But okay, back to my few little nitpicks. Does Aquaman buy new clothes every time he gets out of the ocean?
That's a good question.
Because
Aquaman scenes were a little much. Where I was like, all right,
because
I get it.
He literally takes off his shirt every time he's about to go get in the ocean.
Okay, that's where I'll agree with you on the slow motion. A little too much slow motion. I mean, I'm pretty sure women didn't mind it. But
I was horny.
I mean, I'm not gonna. Yeah, same here.
Dude, like that's a
I want to
beautiful
say I
man.
I didn't mind it, but
That's a beautiful man, and the fact that he is so gorgeous and I like him in this movie makes me so upset that the Aquaman movie was so bad.
yeah.
And like I just okay, so
I didn't watch Aquaman either.
Oh yeah, don't.
Yeah.
That one is like not even like Coming to America where it's just like, oh, you know, you should watch it once. Don't fucking watch Aquaman. It's so bad.
Yeah.
Another thing was, Barry Allen, the Flash. I love the Flash. One of my, in DC world, one of my favorite characters, and I liked him in this too. But I was watching it again today, and when he's in the prison and he's talking to his dad about and his dad's like, oh, you have 4 dead end jobs.
Yeah.
Just to pay for tuition, and then the very next scene is going to his place where it's just filled with like boxes of shit that he's stolen and all these computer screens, and he's doing all this shit. It's just like, homie, just go sell some of your shit.
Yeah, right.
There's your tuition right there, bud.
Yeah.
So I mean, that one's not really anything, but I just made me giggle when I saw it. I was just like, dude, you have your tuition in stacks right there because you're a fucking thief.
Yeah. I don't agree with the casting with Flash
For
I think
Ezra Miller.
Yeah, I mean he played way too into like the whole I'm immature, I'm a kid, I'm gonna say something funny all the time. Like he was really trying to be funny, at least for me. Like when I watch it.
Well, yeah, because I mean the Flash also Barry Allen is like a smart kid.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I think they could have got a more of an unknown with that.
Like they played it as like, oh, he's super fast, so he has ADHD and he's all over the place.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
just like, oh, I mean, you know, he's a little bit more composed.
I will say the character though, in general, like in this movie, I thought was the fact that he's the one that like, and also that story arc of him just that he's the one, his electrical chart is what kind of is what the whole thing is based on. Like I love that much better than what original Justice League was, where he was just the guy that needs to get the people out. It's
and it's just like the half of him in the major fight scene was just him running with a truck full of Ukrainian people. It was just like, I mean, you're not really utilizing this guy for what he's good at.
Yeah. All right, what's the next one?
Do the Amazonian women all bang each other? I mean,
That's
it was
actually a
just
really
a
good
quick
question.
question. It was just something that I had
know.
in my head.
I don't know.
And so, but see, that branched off into a couple things too. I was just like, if they do, I don't even care. But then I also was thinking, if this movie came out in the late 90s, early 2000s, it would be the first thing on everybody's mind because for some reason, like lesbian porn was like such a fetishized thing in that time.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, oh, yeah, it's 2 chicks. And like, and you move on because it's actually the most boring porn.
Yeah,
now.
That's interesting.
But
yeah,
I was just curious because, like, I mean, I got horny watching Aquaman. So, I mean, everybody has feelings, and that is an island just full of really tall, gorgeous women.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it Scissor Sisters, or I mean, do they just bring in some dudes every once in a while? They just find a boat and they're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah. That would be an interesting little backstory.
You know, just little things that pop into my brain when I watch movies that probably.
I'm sure it pops in everyone's brain,
people
for sure.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about with this movie?
I mean, I could talk about this movie all day, but
no, I mean, like any major points.
Any major points?
Or just things that like
Jared Leto.
Oh, the very end.
Yes. First of all, okay, what do you think about that last scene? That scene in particular only.
That scene only. I didn't mind him.
I didn't either.
I didn't, and that was the crazy part because as soon as I saw the profile, before like words were spoke or anything, I was like, I know who that is. Know who that is. And then he turns his head a little bit more, and then you see the makeup, and I was like, "Fuck, it is."
Yeah.
And then he starts talking. I'm like, "Oh, you should have done this before.
Exactly.
You should have done this in Suicide Squad. Like they should have never ever had this whole. I'm a fucking. I mean, he was basically like a wigger almost in."
Yeah, it
Suicide
was
Squad.
way too stylized, like music. Yeah, it was way too.
Exactly. It was a rap video.
Yeah. Which even then, like if you look at it, the performance, like it's still like good, but obviously it's just not what we like because we don't see Joker that way. We see him
I mean, it's also just like it was very minimal in that movie.
I will say this: for me, the genius behind his performance is that technically almost isn't him either. That's how Batman sees him.
Yeah, that's true.
So isn't it interesting to see a more grounded Joker versus one like? Granted, obviously it's like post-apocalyptic style, but I thought that was very fascinating because I was waiting for moments for him to like do like his little Joker thing, and he doesn't. It's very like he's literally talking to him.
Yeah, he's
like,
talking to his friend.
Yeah, and it's Batman. It's like the time you see them like both really like this is like how Batman sees it because this is his dream.
Yeah,
and so that made that scene. I was like, yes. First of all, that should have been in the fucking movie in the beginning, but and what they're talking about too is great.
No, yeah, I like that whole dialogue between the two.
Just that shift too, that where he gets Joker with the Harley Quinn thing.
Yeah. No, that was solid. That was really good. But I was also thinking about this the other day, bringing up Jared Leto.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody that you could think of that might be like a bigger douchebag than him?
Actually, maybe. Hold on.
A couple, but
yeah, for sure.
I was just thinking about it. I was like, that in my opinion, a terrible musician, and he's a great. But here's the thing, though. I look past it because he's a fucking great actor.
Yeah.
When he turns it on, like shit like Dallas Buyers Club and things like that, like he is fucking great.
Yeah.
So I look past the douchebaggery.
Same. Yeah.
But then you catch like an interview with him, or I've seen him on the street out here, and I'm just like, oh, this guy looks like he would be a total fucking dick.
Yeah. I had one little experience with him that wasn't, I couldn't tell, but it was a thing when I was working at the Ace.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was there one night with like his friends, whatever, and I came by and I was like, oh, I was a busser at the time, so I was like, you guys done with your plates? And everyone answered except for him. He just did a whole look at me like, and I was like, oh, cool, so you guys are good? Everyone's answering. He's just looking at me like, almost like, yeah, dude, get the fuck out of here. That's the vibe I got.
What do
I
you
was
want,
like,
peasant?
Yeah, what do you want, peasant? Yeah, exactly. I know you know who I am, and that's why you're coming over here. It's like, no, dude. All right, man. Whatever. I was liking your music.
Dude, I dealt with a lot of that when I worked at the Parker.
Oh, you worked at the Parker?
I worked at
That's right.
Dude, I worked at the Parker.
I feel like everyone tried to get a job there.
I had to sign like a 10-page NDA while I was working there.
Mm-hmm.
Not relevant anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna talk about it. And I already told one story on this podcast about how I drew a dick on John Mayer's latte. He loved it though.
Nice.
But also just like there was a couple of different people, and you get the vibe for who's really cool and who's not. I got a story that you'll fucking love, and maybe I've told it to you in the past while we were working together.
Tell me again.
Gary Oldman. Did I tell you about meeting him?
No.
Okay.
Tell me, please.
So Gary Oldman was staying at the Parker, and he actually he stays under an alias. Sorry, Gary. His name is Mr. Underwood, and the day that he checked in, I wasn't working, so I get there the next day, and I'm running the coffee shop inside of the breakfast place, and there's also a bar in the back room.
Yeah.
And one of the kids, one of the bussers comes up to me. He's like, "Hey man, Gary Oldman checked in yesterday. He gets a dry cappuccino every day. He's probably gonna come see you." And I was like, "Oh, dope, dude! I love that guy."
Yeah.
I was fucking True Romance is one of my favorite movies of all time. Like I fucking love this dude.
Fuck yeah.
And so a couple hours goes by, and I'm just working. And at one point, I'm just wiping down the counter, and a guy walks up, and I just hear, "Hey, is there anywhere I can get something to drink around here?" And I look up, and it's him, and I'm like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well." I was like, "Do you want a coffee?" He goes, "No." He's like, I want an actual like a cocktail. I want a drink." And I was like, "Oh well." I was like, "Oh well, there's the lobby bar."
Yeah.
I was like, "There's the pool bar." And I was like, "Well, sir, I also have a bar right here. Like it's all in the back room. It's hidden because the coffee shop needs to stay clean." But I was like, I got a bar," and he goes, "Well," it's like, "What can you make?" And instantly a line from, because you're not supposed to like gush over the celebrities or anything, or let them know that you know who they are.
Yeah.
But instantly a line from True Romance popped in my head of his character, Drexel.
Yeah. Which line?
And so I go, I can make you everything from a diddly-eyed Joe to a damned if I know.
What did he say?
Without fucking hesitation, he looked at me and he goes, "You must think it's White Boy Day."
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Dude, I fucking there were like
That's so
it
cool.
was curtains into the back room,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just walked into the curtains and geeked out for a second. I came back out. I was
Dude.
like, all right, what can I get you, dude?
That's why he's fucking one of the best actors of all time. He was already ready for it.
He was
He's
ready,
just
dude. Like, I
dude,
mean,
I
just
fucking already came with my backstory, dude.
like he didn't even
Yeah.
it wasn't even a second thought, dude. He just looked at me. He's
That's
like, and just
oh,
you must think
man.
it's white boy
Dude,
day.
you
And I was-
technically acted with him for that little window.
yeah, dude.
You were his co-star for
I
that
ran
moment.
lines with Gary Oldman. I could say
Basically. Dude, that's amazing. That's so cool. I saw him one
that now.
time.
Add that to my headshot.
Though the only time that I'd seen him was random as hell, and it was great. It was a very starstrucking moment, but it was also kind of cool and weird and interesting. I was at Cheeky's, and it was like, I think it was the Sunday, whatever. I was gonna come right back to LA, but I just had brunch there, whatever, before I left, and it was like the tail end of it. Do you know? Shout out to him if he's watching. Levy from he works.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know how Levy, well, he works there, and so whatever. You know how he's got a loud, powerful voice.
Yeah.
So it was like the tail end. They were closing. They were slowly but surely taking tables out, and I was there with someone, and we're about to leave. And I just remember this guy walks right by me, like a group of 4, and I did a quick glance. I was like, oh, that guy kind of looks like Gary Oldman. Interesting. But it was like one of those like sub thoughts.
Mm.
And as I look back, dude, it's him, and he's sitting down. He's got this like topper little fedora hat kind of going. He looks young for some reason. Looks great. I'm like, oh my god, dude, you look fucking great in person, like healthy and whatever. And this is the year that he did the one he won the Oscar for. What am I blanking out? Dark. Anyone?
I don't fucking I can't call it right now.
Where he's playing Churchill.
Oh, I can't remember what it's called though.
But anyways, so I see him like, oh fuck. And the person I'm with, I'm like, hey, holy shit, Gary Oldman's right there. She's like, hello? I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to continue this. Just so whatever. So like, you know what? I can afford another glance, right? As I look back, dude, he's like this with like hands on top, and he's just looking at me, just like that. And I'm like, oh shit, he looked at me again, whatever. And I was like, oh, that was weird. Cool. Whoa, fuck, he really looked at me, whatever. By that time, Levy comes out, like, hey, dude, so man, I'll see you later. I'm off the club, blah, blah, blah. So I get up to hug him. He's like, yeah, man, good to see you. Going back to LA. Like, he's like talking loud.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, yeah. And I look back again, dude. He's watching the whole trend that's going. He's just like
staring at
me. Yeah. And to the point to like, I was like, fuck. All right, he's really looking. I wonder what he's thinking about. For one, as I walk past him, I wanted to say hi, but I was like, he's not gonna be looking at me. As I look at him, dude, he's like looking at me, walk down like this, and I'm like, and I didn't say anything. I just kept walking. I'm like, wonder what he was thinking.
He was like, are you Eric Marq, the director?
Right.
He's like, we need to talk, sir, but you just blew it because you didn't fucking say hi to me.
Oh my god, I know.
Good
He's
job,
watching this
man.
now. Yeah, but anyways, that's a moment I had that if I ever meet him, I'm gonna bring that up. Like, what were you looking at?
Like, dude, why were you staring at me?
Yeah.
But
yeah, love that guy.
Yeah, so I mean, shit, man, we have breezed through most of this pretty fast. But since a podcast is called The Worst, we might as well get into a couple of the questions.
Oh yeah,
you know, I mean, I prefer it this way when I can just have a fun talk with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to get, I'm gonna let anybody who's planning on being a guest or anybody I have scheduled to be a guest later. If I get to the questions in the first 10 to 15 minutes, you're boring as fuck.
Wait, are you limited? Like, what's the time limit?
We got an hour on this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And he'll give me the 10 when we're, or the 5 or one of those two things, right? Yeah. Okay. It's like right
10,
now,
bro.
motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah.
What worst audition you've ever been on?
Oh my god, I did. It was actually for a Judd Apatow thing. It just came out, and it was for a series regular for a new pilot that they were coming out with.
Oh really?
And dude, I blanked. I just didn't have my lines down.
Just ate a bag of dicks.
And literally, big bag of dicks. And the worst part is, when I walked in, the first thing I said, because they moved offices, so they're like, you know, we're actually gonna go do it in this office over here. And so the first thing I said as soon as I walked in, it's a small office, I was like, wow, nice office. And like with that tone, not thinking, you know. And she stopped looking at me. She's like, why, thank you. And I was like, oh fuck. And that fucked me up, dude. And as soon as we started reading, sure enough, the first like couple lines, I'm just like, and she's like, all right, we're gonna do it again. I was like, yeah, cool. Boom, dude. I literally, I don't even know if I remember if I went through it all. I think at one point she's like, all right, cool, thank you. And I was like, we still have another scene. All right, yeah, bye. I'll see you later, dude. It was and I left my stuff in there. So as she brought another actor, I had to come in, knock, and she's like, yeah. I was like, I just gotta grab it. She's like, oh. And so it was that awkward silence of like the other actor just like,
yeah, everyone's just staring at you.
Yeah, dude, it was the worst. It was like years ago. I mean, hopefully, you know, they're not watching this and being like, oh, I remember him. Don't fucking call him.
Dude, Did the show ever come out?
Yeah, it was a show with oh God, what's her name? It was written by Amy Poehler, and it was only one season. I think it was called God, it's gonna kill me, but it was about an Indian family.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and but the lead in it, she was like very hard to explain. I don't know.
Bro, you could pass for Indian.
No, I was supposed to play like the friend, her like best friend, but I'm also a tech nerd, and she's like using me to be like, because she can't get like dudes, I think is what the story was from what I remember, and so she's talking to me about it, and I'm like, what do you mean you're fucking hot? Like we would all like bang her. She's like, yeah, well I know you guys would. It was like that whole kind of backstory.
Okay, got it. Yeah, very Judd Apatow.
Very
style. Though.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah, it was that was the worst.
What's the worst thing that you've ever written that at the time you thought it was fucking gold? And then you look back on it and you're like, wow, dude, like I can't believe I ever even tried.
I think it was I had written like a scene from like a restaurant experience I had, and I sent it to a lot of people thinking that it was good. It was like 2 pages, and it was about like a confrontation I had with a manager. I thought it was hilarious, and just to not hear back from anyone, and when I did hear back,
dude, that's the
coldest.
Like,
oh no, yeah, it's yeah, it was just, I mean, it was cool. I just didn't get it. I'm like,
the coldest though is when you send somebody something and you don't hear back from them until you ask them.
Bro, I learned.
Where you're just like, hey,
yeah.
So what'd you think? And they're like, oh yeah, that's right, you sent me that piece of trash.
I learned to stop sending like anything I write. There's only like 1 or 2 people that I'll actually send it that I know they'll read it and get back to me. But other than that, I just stop. Because even just the fact of them, and it's just a weird artist thing, I'm pretty sure you relate, is just even if you don't hear back, it's almost like a, I think it fucking sucked. Did you read it? Did you, like, you're just, you know, that kind of, although you don't care, but you do.
No, yeah, dude.
Does that make sense?
I sent somebody a bunch of roast jokes that I wrote a couple weeks ago, and I didn't hear anything back, and like instantly, because like that's the mindset was like, fuck, dude, what did I do wrong? Why was this not funny enough for him to just write back immediately that, hey, dude, you killed this, or anything like that? Like, and then it's just racing, and it's just like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I hate doing that.
Yeah, I did.
Because also, especially with like jokes and things like that, like it's so much on delivery.
For sure.
Where it's just like you can get the idea from reading a written joke, but like if it's not delivered properly in the person's head, which it's weird of me to assume that they're gonna read it how I wrote it in my head. Yeah. You know, it's just nah. Right, pass it on.
Yeah, no, for sure. I was doing it with music. I was sending like riffs to people, and like even I don't sing. Oh, I sing now, but I didn't at the time. And I'm like, oh, it's my idea of it, and I'll send stuff out. I had one girl. I'm actually gonna use this for my demo. Because my whole idea with my first demo, I want to do like what Sublime would add, like little interludes and just random shit. You're just but then they'll play something behind, and half the album was literally just a fucking like some kind of random story of whatever, like 2 or 3 or like 5 or 6 songs. Whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. So I'm going to use this for this one. But in this case, I had sent a riff to this girl, a good friend of mine. She's extremely honest. She's one of those she's like Italian mixed with Spanish. She's watching. I'm probably butchering it. But anyways, I sent her this thing, and she's like, hey, I listened. I was like, oh my God. She's like, you know what? I feel you. I know where you're trying to go with it. I think it's, it's great. But as a friend, she's like, I'm going to tell you this because I love you. As a friend, you should probably stick to acting.
Oh.
And this was and literally, dude, I couldn't, yeah, right? I couldn't stop laughing. And the fact that it didn't damage me was like, okay, I really want to do music, because that point, that was so fucking like, oh my God. But also at the same time, it's funny. So I'm going to throw that in as the intro to the demo.
The second time I ever did stand up, I remember eating a bag of dicks. I went up there and I landed the first joke, and then I just blanked.
Dude, stand-up's hard.
I just blanked for 2.5 minutes.
Bro, yeah.
And I tried to bring it back together, but I couldn't. And the first joke I told was about being in the service industry, and as I walked off stage, some dude just looked at me, he goes, stick with it, bud. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. He goes, no, the restaurant job.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, shit. Yes.
Dude, yeah, of course, though. I mean, you gotta have. I thought he was encouraging
me at first. I was like, "Oh, thanks, man."
Just drown out that second part. Yeah, just take it as what it was.
No, guy. Fucking stick with the restaurant job. At least you're getting paid to do something.
Oh my God, dude, that's the worst.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna fuck off now. Thanks, bud.
Dude, but brutal honesty, man.
No,
I prefer it. I
see,
prefer
and
it.
I appreciate it because I'm the same way. I like to tell it how it is.
No, yeah.
And
that's why I like you, man. You're definitely always
I like to
real
tell
with it.
I like to tell it how it is. So if
Yeah.
if I hear something coming from somebody that sounds like they're just fingering my ass to tell me that they love me, you know, like one of those things. It's just like, I know, dude. Like, example, my wife constantly tells me I'm not fat. Bothers the fuck out of me, dude.
Really?
I'm like, just say it. I know I am. I'm like, I'm not fine with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not fine with it, but like, that is my motivation. That is my motivation to be better at it. And during the fucking pandy, I definitely got fatter, because I'll tell you right now, it never was this hard for me to get out of my car. And I'm working on it, though.
Dude, well, to her defense, in her eyes, she doesn't think you're fat.
Okay, but
I mean, I don't think you're fat, dude.
Oh, fuck off.
No. I don't. I really don't. I actually thought you slimmed down. I was gonna tell you, I'm like, you've been like working out, doing something.
I have been for
Dude,
like
well,
2
fuck
weeks.
Yeah, dude. There you go, man. Take
No,
the
yeah,
wins.
I'm working.
Take the wins.
I'm,
baby
yeah,
wins.
I'll take them, but in my head, it's always negative.
Of course,
and
I know. Yeah.
Right now, I'll admit, right now, I'm pretty happy with this whole thing, because Natalie gave me a haircut and a beard trim last night. So like, as long as the camera's from fucking here up, I'm good.
Dude, yeah, totally.
You know, I really, really need to get away from the bitch tits. The man tits, dude, the man tits, like, I mean, I honestly have no problem with having a gut as long as as long as my tits aren't bigger than my wife's, I'm fine. Dude, so that's what I'm working on right now.
You should invest in the perfect push-up. You know those little things?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that'll chill you. That'll take that out in a month.
I see. All I got.
Just do 10 a day.
Because of the fucking pandemic and shit, almost all like workout equipment was gone when shit started. Yeah. So I just have what are the resistance bands at home, and I just bust out those and I take walks. Yeah. And besides that, and going to work and just running around that place all day, that's what I do.
Do you count your steps?
Yeah, because I keep my phone in my pocket all the time.
Oh, good.
And I mean, it counts them, and
that's it's always good, man.
You know. Yeah. I think I mostly average like somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 a day. So I'm working on it. Yeah. But yeah, so but she's also gotten my kid to be like, "No, Dad, you're not fat." And I'm like, "Don't you fucking lie to me, you little shit." Like, I'm gonna give you one of these.
She's like, "What is that?" She's like, "Nothing. Don't worry about
it." Okay. Now back onto another. Yeah. So here's just one question on a different segment called "What's Worse?" And okay, so working on every movie you've ever dreamed of working on every movie you've ever dreamed of being a part of, but only as a background actor, or you have second lead in every movie you get, but it's always a different version of the same role. Basically, you get pigeonholed. You become a Denzel.
Ooh, I mean,
not as good.
I know what you mean. Yeah, not as good. Yeah,
nothing against you, but nowhere near the caliber of what Denzel gets. But like, it's like they look at you and they like, hey, you can be Cartel, right? They just do that. They just do that to you every single time. But you get speaking roles, or you're in every fucking movie you've ever dreamed of being, but you are just that face that people are like, hey, I know that guy, but they never fucking hear anything.
Yeah, no, probably the background for sure. Yeah, because at least with the other one, I have control of being different shades of that type of person, and so I would find a way to be like make it fun. So, yeah, background's the worst. I've done background twice. And that's enough. I'm like, nah, this is stupid. I can't do it.
What were you? Were you in background in anything?
Yeah, McFarland, USA.
Oh, no shit.
With the Costner, Kevin Costner.
Hell yeah.
I was the one that slaps him in the back as he gets in the bus.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude. I got directed and everything. Like, all right, Costner's gonna come right here, so you're gonna just like make sure you use your open hand when you slap his back. I'm like, oh, cool. And I'm like, yeah, totally, I could do it. And that was my moment.
So you got to slap Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Did you have to pull it?
It was like four takes. Yeah, I try not to hit him too hard. It was a whole thing. Like everyone's.
Does he feel brittle? Does he feel brittle, or does he still have some physique about him?
No, he's got some physique.
All right, good.
Yeah,
good. I'm glad that
he's a solid back.
Because I mean, what isn't he doing Yellowstone now? Isn't that his thing?
Yeah, which I hear is a good show.
Wait, I haven't seen it either, but I hear it's fucking great.
Yeah, they're doing a second season of that apparently. People have been coming in for it.
Oh no, I think they're on their 4th season.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. It's
like a spin-off. It's not.
They're doing
it's like
something.
A different.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Damn, I probably wasn't supposed to say that, but
boom, exclusive. Okay, so here's a little something. And I don't know if you've heard about this, but this popped up on my news feed the other day, and I just thought this shit was so wild. Yeah. New segment, worst news. So this guy props up his dead wife's body on the couch and has his children open up Christmas presents in front of her. Have you heard about this?
What? No.
Craziest thing though happened in 2011, but we're just hearing about it now because the guy's just getting charged.
What the fuck? How is he even preserving the body? Like,
No. He killed her the night before Christmas and propped her up the day after on Christmas Day in 2011. This happened in Anaheim, California.
oh, it's just a one time. It wasn't like he does it like every...
No.
Oh,
Like
gotcha,
it
gotcha.
just happened. So
What the fuck?
basically, he does this, props her up on the couch, puts sunglasses on her like it's fucking Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
And then when the kids come downstairs, he says, "Mommy got drunk last night. She's ruining Christmas. Open your presents."
Oh my god.
Now, I don't know if
That
you've
is
ever
so
seen
twisted.
a dead body, but they don't look like they're sleeping.
Yeah.
So,
Well, of course, with the kids though, it's like,
yeah. But
yeah.
it's-
Oh my god, it's
there's
twisted.
something wrong with Mom.
Yeah.
And then so the cops show up. He gets arrested initially. Tells a direct quote, tells them, "I thought she would just get up like all the other times that I beat her."
Oh my god. Dude,
Wild,
that's
right?
fucking-
And then somebody posts $100,000 bail for him, so he's been out this whole time,
Are you serious?
and he is just getting charged now.
Wow.
Right?
That is insane.
Isn't that fucking wild,
I
dude?
wouldn't be
Like,
surprised if more like situations.
and
come
that's in
up.
fucking Anaheim, dude. When I first started reading this story, I was like, "Oh, this is Florida for
Dude,
sure."
Someone's friends with this guy.
Yeah.
Someone's probably seen that, being like, I fucking know that guy. What the hell?
Like, yeah, I was like, I got some buddies in Orange County. I was like, but like, seriously though, like, I thought this shit was in Florida.
That
Oh,
is
this
so
sounds like a
crazy.
fucking Florida man thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
no, dude, Anaheim, California.
Dude, that's so wow. That's fucking twisted, man.
Dude, another crazy thing. Have you heard about this China's social credit system that they're working on?
No.
Have you've seen Black Mirror?
Yes.
You remember the episode where it was what was there? What's I can't remember her name. Don Johnson's daughter? No, not Don.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce. Thank you, Bryce Dallas
Yeah.
Howard. She is like basically the whole episode surrounds social media and
I've seen that episode.
and, yeah,
yes.
and everything you
It's
do
like-
can be a mark against you.
Mm-hmm.
China's doing that in real life now.
Oh no.
They only have it in a certain province right now.
Yeah.
But basically, they have like 200 million security cameras set up with all with facial recognition.
Yeah.
And if
What
you
the
do
fuck?
something like even jaywalking, whatever it may be, feeding a stray animal, something like that, they will dock you points, and it will
Wow.
prevent your child from getting into a good school. It will prevent you from ever having like being able to get on a plane or a train,
Dude, that
any
is
shit like that.
terrible. What
And
the
they
fuck?
are planning on launching it like nationwide. Like
Oh my
it's
God,
it's
yeah.
gonna become a thing. Isn't that fucking crazy?
That is gnarly.
I mean,
That is
I
too
just
much of a prison. That is.
I just think about like
Dude.
I will have as bad of social credit as I do have real credit.
Oh my god. Same. Dude. Yeah. Social cues. Like. Dude, that's off. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that. I thought that was. I mean, if anything, that almost doesn't sound like. Real.
It doesn't sound real, right?
Yeah.
But shit's getting crazy, and I swear to God, if that ever happens in the U.S., like
Yeah. Well, don't they also have
My
like
credit
concentration
system's
camps
terrible.
for like Muslims or something like that over there too? They do.
I know
right?
they have a
Yeah.
lot of wild ass shit going on.
Dude.
Stop
Yeah, it's
Asian
a
hate
fucked
though.
up world. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, got to throw it out there.
No, for sure, man.
I'm
It's,
allowed to make jokes. I don't really hate anybody.
freedom of speech.
I'm saying, but people get really uptight about it,
Oh, I know.
especially right. Okay,
Especially
so
nowadays.
real quick, have you heard of the app Clubhouse?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it, but I haven't really ventured.
Oh,
into it.
okay. So, my very first week on it or whatever, I was going on it, and I really wasn't sure how it worked, and I was jumping into different rooms,
Mhm.
and one of them was 24 hours of silence for Asian racism.
Mhm.
And you opened up, and there was like 15 speakers, but they all had their selves muted. It was just a totally quiet room on an audio drop-in chat.
Yeah.
I was like, I get what you're doing, but it's bizarre that this was the platform that it was chosen to do this on.
Yeah. Yeah. a
So,
little.
and the next day I'm doing there was Clubhouse open mics,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh fuck it, I'm just gonna do this because I haven't done stand up in a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get in one of the open mic rooms, and I do all Clubhouse jokes.
Yeah.
And like I do the whole because there's an influencer that runs a mental health check-in, and so it was just I was talking about how like what kind of mental health check-in do you get from an influencer?
Yeah.
It's just like, how bad does this guy's brain get where he's just like, he doesn't just look at his abs and get happy again?
Yeah.
And that, but I led in with a joke that was I'm first on Clubhouse, And I was like, all right, well, let me ease myself in. And I found a room that said 24 hours of silence for Asian racism. And I thought to myself, oh, that's easy. I'm always silent when I see Asian racism. And then everyone was like, oh, and I'm like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm silent when I see any racism. And then I got the laugh. But, but there was a lot of people that got really upset with that. And I actually got kicked from the room. But it's just jokes. And, but you also have to check the temperature of what's going on.
Oh, for sure.
This was before, I will say, this was before a bunch of people got murdered that I did this joke, because I wouldn't do it now, even though I just did it now.
Yeah.
A little too soon. So... is there anything you want to tell people before we wrap up?
No, I just thought this was great.
Like,
I wish I had something to promote.
Do you have any
really.
music coming or anything like that?
Yeah, Julian's coming soon.
Type of...
yeah, I mean, I guess my Instagram, Eric Jose _Jose, 16. Yeah,
cool. And Chad Austin on all social media. The Worst drops audio Mondays, video Tuesdays. Thank you for tuning in again. We out.